going on, YouTube? Wavy back. My Lord of the Rings family, we are back. I apologize. I know it's been honestly a bit longer of a delay than I had been anticipating for. I had initially planned to hopefully start doing like 2 episodes a week with these, as I'm doing like these one video per episodes. But obviously, with me getting my new storage stuff, Patreon, TikTok, those things have taken up an exorbitant amount of time. But regardless, we are back. I hope you guys know I am never going to be forgetting about you. This is something that I genuinely enjoy getting to do, and genuinely appreciate the fact that you guys enjoy that I do. Today's episode is, obviously, as I just mentioned, it's just going to be one episode, or one video, but it's like a 45-minute one, so this video is probably going to end up being somewhere around like 30 minutes, something like that. I think the next 3 or 4 videos are like roughly this size, so it'll probably be like the same kind of construct / structure for the just immediate future with these videos, but yeah. Stupidly excited. We're back with 2 towers. This is going to be the second installment, jumping back in. I don't know what this episode is going to be about. I haven't looked at the title yet. Very excited regardless, though. As always, thank you guys so much for hanging out, watching along with me, checking out these videos, checking out this channel. It means the absolute world to me that I get to do this kind of stuff with you guys and just talk about it. It's just forever grateful, really. But as always, if you are new here, feel free to leave a like, feel free to leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about this episode, what else you want me to check out here on this channel. And if you're new, feel free to subscribe. Feel free to subscribe. It's totally free. You can always take it back later if you change your mind. But I would love it if you stuck around. With all that being said, team, let's go ahead and jump into the 2 Towers Appendices, episode 2.
People would probably think that, you design the film, you build the things you need, and then from that point on, you don't need your designers anymore.
Absolutely not.
They're all continuously working on the film.
The inspiration for the look of this film comes very much out of
When he looks like that, all I can see is Magneto.
Tolkien, because it's their drawings and paintings which began the process.
He was able to dip into all this material that we'd spent a decade doing before. So he got, 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, he just got that like full inventory as well.
We found space in the Weta workshop.
A lot of that creative feeling that we had in the art department came from their room, because you just walked in there and there were hundreds of drawings.
And I was continually shoving his junk back onto his side, to an original illustration, to half a cup of coffee.
I draw very intuitively. I don't think too much about what I'm doing beforehand.
Just go with the flow.
And I'd lift my head, and Alan would have done this enormous fresco across 5 pages. I work just a little bit quicker than Alan. That was my only saving grace.
Based off what he just said, it didn't seem like it.
The look of film 1 was, in comparison to film 2, was certainly more cheerful. Now, with 2 Towers, the world of men,
definitely more grey,
more
flat coloring,
and that is reflected in the colour palette of the film.
Yeah, it's like a greyish blue.
Peter was incredibly busy, particularly once we started filming.
Yeah.
We often used to chase him up mountains and on riverbanks.
Yeah, I was about to say, probably quite literally.
It wasn't really an ambush, but it was more just like setting the stuff up in the pathway of where he'd be going from set A to set B.
Mm-hmm. You gotta make it look natural.
And sometimes he was in such a hurry, he just sort of glanced at it and said, "I'll talk to you later, guys." Oh, God, I know, because the next time he's going to be down the mountain over there, and so you have to pick up the table and trot down over there.
That's so annoying.
But we prided ourselves on never missing a deadline.
Hell yeah.
We had a ongoing tally of about 350, but I know that it went over 400.
Oh my goodness.
On sets that are crammed together like the housing in Hong Kong. It's an amazing feat.
Yeah.
Every day, and wondering how they were going to get the next set on the lot.
Such an incredible process.
It felt a little bit like being a pioneer, and some of those early photographs
I mean,
of
they were. Literally, in so many aspects, people that worked on this film were pioneers.
you felt that was going on in Wellington.
It's ridiculous.
Everything's there to
But we needed that maze-like formation, which Whakapapa ski field had some of.
What?
Was flexible enough to be shot in.
Sounded like he said "fuck upon a field."
To make rock that felt 100% as though you were still on the mountainside.
Welded steel frame with huge chunks of foam, which
Oh.
we cast off a real rock face, so that gives us a nice surface to work from.
That's so cool looking.
And then we would reassemble them into all kinds of environments. To be coving up to these side walls of
That
cliff,
would take so
we
long
built
just to make
rollers on
a wall.
trundle them out of the way for the crew to be able to access different parts of the set.
Oh my god.
You have to doff your cap to the
Yeah.
talent when you go to lean against it. You know, the kind of the styrofoam. Sorry, we need a little.
Yeah, that would definitely be a little twisty on the mind.
Warriors who died in this battle
That's cool.
are still floating amongst the weeds.
You know, the perfect dead marshes location. We actually lowered the chopper.
Oh, wow.
It was an amazing location, but there wasn't any solid ground.
Seriously thinking about whether this should be a backlot set. Achieve.
It's a really
exactly
stunning
what you want,
area.
a little bit.
The dead marshes were filmed in a parking lot and a variety of parking lots.
Oh.
Wet set that was initially used for outside the gates of Moria.
I see.
And every 10 minutes or so a train would go right next door, and people could actually look out of the window of the train and see us shooting. Like
What a fun memory for the people that got to see that.
noise of passing trains on the soundtrack.
Planes, trains, automobiles. They were having to deal with all sorts of audio shit.
11,000 sandbags.
Oh my god.
We would sew mosses onto the sandbags and then lay them down on the bottom of the floor.
Jeez, dude.
And then we had these two all along with gas, and they would be lit on fire, so they had all of these flames coming out of the water.
Wow.
Computer-generated map painting for the extent of the marshes.
Photographic elements for our map painting
I see.
are all done digitally. Gives us an incredibly realistic result.
Yeah.
Our challenge was to make it incredibly gloomy and a dark, overcast sky, but when they shot the chaps on set...
I was about to say it was just bright and sunny.
But it has small breaks where you see little pools of light.
That's cool.
A dead marshes set on the back lot at Stone Street.
Bunch of parking lots, baby.
Digital, so it was
See, I told y'all, all Middle Earth was missing was a Walmart and some nice parking lots. Right next to Rivendell. Or was it Lothlorien?
So we had Richard Taylor make up some very realistic looking
Oh.
sort of dummies, because we didn't really want to have people under the water having to hold their breath.
It was all set up in the water, and you had that lovely...
I mean, like, for only a few seconds at a time, I feel like they definitely could have just had people laying there for a few seconds.
It's great, and they're looking like...
Although I guess...
Oh, did you see that?
I guess if they were wanting them to be in one specific spot. But for that scene, I would imagine they probably had a real person.
And I think Tolkien yearned for some form of mythology for his native land.
Felt.
Scandinavian, Northern Europe civilizations. And
Yeah,
that
definitely very Nordic.
Think of them as Vikings of the plains, Vikings without ships, but with horses instead.
Tolkien had sort of took a cue from that in the design of the buildings and the armor.
Reminds me very much so of Vinland Saga.
we used a lot of horse motifs in the designs. There's carved
designs and the names. Although that was more Tolkien to begin with.
Are the few significant remnants we have of Anglo-Saxon culture.
Oh, wow.
It's a civilization which has been basically lost to us.
I actually didn't know that.
And, for example, Theoden's helmet, it feels like it could go.
Is Anglo-Saxon history really that much of an unknown?
And artists like John Howe and Alan Lee illustrated Edoras in the past.
Everest?
In Beowulf, there is a description of, it's not described in detail, but you do get some kind of impression.
That's it? I want to read that.
Heorot, which is Hrothgar's.
Trooped down together till they timbered hall, gold-decked and garnished guns.
It's not described in detail, but you do get some kind of...
I see.
There stands aloft a great hall of men, and it seems to my eyes that it is thatched with gold.
That's cool.
Solitary hill that sits in front of
I'm gonna
Snowy
get to
Mountains.
read that part soon. Not soon, but eventually.
Contracted a location scout. Lo and behold, Dave came back with this photograph of Mount Sunday.
You know, it was just so perfect, but I knew I had a bit of a hard job selling it to the studio because this was going to be expensive if we were going to actually build Erebus on this.
Yeah. Any sort of real production's gotta just be insanely pricey.
We were in a helicopter flying over the edge of the plains of Rohan, and Alan had his little camera, sort of absent-mindedly thinking he could lean out this window. So his camera case is somewhere still on the plains of Rohan. He's lucky he didn't lose more than the camera itself.
That's actually hilarious. Wow.
How on earth are we going to build something on this?
But being there, it gives it a reality that I think you couldn't capture, say, on a blue screen stage.
Yeah, I'm actually very curious as to the production process of this.
We then discovered that this valley is like a wind funnel. Hugely strong winds just blast.
Oh, shit.
They did a weather check and it was like 3 days of the year with no wind.
Seriously?
250 days with like 100-mile-an-hour winds. It was like, oh, well...
Wow. That's...
It really works for me, you know.
Having to build on that kind of a set would suck so bad. Anytime you're doing, like, shingles, just any sort of loose bits.
They just said, no, we can do it, we can do it.
So this is all the construction that we're doing at the time.
Is that so?
This is probably one of the more complicated of the locations.
Yeah, there's a lot stacked against it.
Permission to do this building, but we had to leave it exactly as we found it.
We actually removed all the
That's
native tussock and
ass, but I get it.
To house these plants for about 18 months, they were sort of tended with loving care.
Oh my goodness.
If we then have a look at some of these aerial...
The amount of dedication.
We got the New Zealand Army to help us. We had roads built on top of this hill.
The Army?
We had a team of about 70 guys there for 6 months.
Wow.
What was actually there rather than going up there and dynamiting the top of the hill off.
Yeah, no, that definitely was not an option.
We decided very early on that the Golden Hall would have a golden thatched, like a wheat thatch look.
I gotta say, that was one thing when I visited England towards the end of, I want to say it was 2023, and something that I had noticed, and well, was pointed out to me, that I had noticed that in England, that you don't see in America anywhere, is thatched roofing. And a surprisingly large amount of houses that still had it. I was very surprised at that. I mean, I learned about it and like its insulation and, you know, how it gets replaced and everything. I was taught about it essentially, but it's just a very interesting olden styled type of roof in architecture that's still used today. That is just, it's very interesting to me. I don't know.
Found a guy who was able to harvest his wheat with a stooking machine, which makes little bundles.
A stooking machine? What is that?
It's coming together really well. People have stepped up the pace somewhat. Just those final finishing touches done.
That looks so good.
And in this sort of raw environment, it should stand out as something quite beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's designed to kind of catch the light and shine out across the landscape.
Very powerful looking symbol.
As beautifully decorated as the Golden Hall
I
itself
love the horse designs. Anytime it's like carved out of wood or stone.
The Rohan would treat their horses probably better than they treated their families. So it was important to have the stables right at the very top of the hill beside the Golden Hall.
That's cool.
Therefore, they would acquire a form of deification.
I mean, yeah, that definitely would make sense given they're such a huge part of the culture.
Seemingly centuries old goat paths were created, and there was just a right
piggies
there.
There's actually no end to the amount of detail that
you look like the pigs that blanking on his name, but the dwarf that stole his snack from in The Hobbit.
Might be to actually break my fingers at any one point, but I don't think it was said in any seriousness.
It's cool getting to see Alan opening up more.
what you see in the movie. It was actually a bunch of trestle tables where everyone sat and had lunch.
Oh, wow.
It was the most uplifting place I've ever been to. It was the most beautiful place I've ever seen.
Rest in peace, man.
And all that's fuel for actors. The more that you're given to work with that's real, the easier it is.
If you go back to the valley now, you'll find no evidence that there was ever a film made there. The set has gone, the service roads.
Incredible.
And now it's just the sheep and the wind.
Would have been better off if we left it. I'm gonna say it. It would have added to the aesthetic of the land.
Set was a 360-degree set that filled up our largest stage.
So this part of the movie was filmed completely separately.
To aim for.
The travelers.
I wasn't sure if they meant when they said that they ate lunch and whatnot in the Golden Hall. I wasn't sure if they meant just that that particular portion and the inside got finished later on or what. But no, I guess it makes more sense that they would have been filming that portion in an actual studio instead.
And over their wide spaces marched figures of ancient legend.
That was cool art.
We produced a lot of very ornate furniture and fixtures and fittings.
Yeah, very curved.
The throne was a really nice prop, so
a lot of curves.
Was really keen on actually carving as much of the throne as possible. And
gorgeous.
Two little figures that my daughter actually sculpted and stuck
really?
onto the back of the seat.
That's cool.
We made banners and cushions and rugs and bedspreads and curtains. You name it, we made it.
Rohan culture that there are these other divisions, and
that's cool. Man.
These banners are made from hand-dyed wool with velvet.
The world building, man, is so deep.
The tapestries were quite a big job. I mean, obviously they all had to be illustrated up first.
Yeah.
Painted on. So we had a team of painters doing this illustrating.
Oh my goodness.
I actually found it hard to keep off the set. I would keep wandering down and Viking or Anglo-Saxon meat hall.
I love that. The fact that they were able to get him so enthralled in the look of it.
It's like a place people go for holidays, apparently, great trout fishing.
It's remote, but there's a few fishermen's huts there. They're like little batches, little cottages.
Digital them out.
A very convenient way was to make them into Rohan huts.
So we built all these wonderful little Rohan thatched.
That got a little bit more complicated when we decided we were going to burn the village down.
It was one of those one-offs, you burn this once, you can't rebuild it. Once the flames...
I wonder if they had to reach out to the homeowners first.
And the whole wind kind of swept around towards the camera.
Had sort of suddenly smelt smoke and smelt their hair starting to catch on fire and taken off. They ran away and left it there.
Can't blame them.
Thank goodness we had multiple cameras out there.
Yeah. Hopefully there was no real damage.
The whole set's burnt down.
All part of the plan.
Yeah, he's doing a bad job.
We're safe the whole time. Yep.
Yeah. Completely safe.
With Fanghorn, it's not a sinister forest, but it's not exactly friendly either.
It's eerie.
We decided, and it was a sort of a reluctant decision because we knew it was going to create an enormous amount of headaches. Fangorn was not going to be shot on location.
Really?
I worked with John Howe and Alan Lee a lot. They would give you a brief sketch.
It's a pretty big set to do off-site.
He's what I call a tree hugger.
I did quite a bit of tree felling for a long time. Arborism, or being a tree surgeon.
Gorgeous.
There's no doubt that if you want to build trees, you have to be really familiar with the way they're put together. Some of them were starting to look a little bit symmetrical or not quite organic enough.
Got frustrated with chippies, as he calls us, building trees. Because chippies like to build, quite straight and square.
I see. Very inorganic builders.
This piece of paper was called The Rules About Trees.
I must admit at the time it was greeted with...
That's hilarious.
Carefully dissecting the tree trunk into various different parts. It's all numbered so that it would fit back together again.
Big ass Legos.
We went to the local botanical gardens and asked if we could collect their leaves, and they thought we were crazy. We'd fill up all these great big wool sacks full of leaves and take them away cart.
That's hilarious.
And then you turn the water on and suddenly it comes to life. If you've done
So cool.
the crew should forget that they're in a studio, and some of them do that. Really, it's a great compliment.
Oh, absolutely.
It's the tree, and they're actually causing a bit of mayhem, but it's obvious they feel very comfortable there.
Yeah. It's a conflicting feeling. They're like, oh, they're loving it. Could you not lean back so far? You're chipping the bark.
You mean I get to build Fangorn Forest again? Great! I can make it better.
There's a smell of dampness and decay. The trunks don't go very far because they go to meet a metal roof with lights hanging from it.
Yeah.
And something I found was I could never find the exit in these places. And then they change it, and I'm like, jeez, where the door is, I don't know.
How, like, I'm curious how much they actually built. Like, size-wise, how big was the set? Or its dimensions?
Faramir's group of people, we wanted to develop a look that made them look like rangers.
Dr. Doom.
But it's complicated in the building because a lot of those rock sets, there's way more work in them than you ever imagine.
I believe it.
Manufacture of the waterfall itself, which was the most complex part of the build. So it ended up being a very high set.
What a cool set, man. Oh my god.
And actually, as it happens, we had painted the bottom of the pool quite dark to make it feel quite deep.
Interesting strat.
Flowing water comes in contact with paint, it would look like a bubble bath. We had to put in these chemicals into the water to stop this foaming.
Interesting.
Full moon is it a half moon? You know, that type of information is available from Tolkien.
That's sick. Gotta love the faithfulness there.
Osgiliath is a ruined Gondorian city. In the story, it's used by Faramir and his team as a sort of a rallying point, a meeting point.
Yeah. Where we had to fight against that fugly-ass, chubby white orc. Got slimed out.
And then have been left and fallen into neglect and been burnt and ruined.
Would love to see what happened there.
He had drawn it in a day, and it clearly illustrates.
Oh my god.
Middle, the ruined
Dude, the
bridge,
detail on that is
everything was there.
crazy.
We wanted it to feel like you were entering Berlin in 1945. You were in London during the Blitz. It's pretty frightening. It's not really a place you want to spend too much time in.
Interesting comparison.
We had saved a huge amount of scenery for the specific purpose of building Osgiliath, because Osgiliath, after all, has been ruined.
The sort of the city blocks, you could recognise bits of halls and previous things that you'd filmed. It was extremely skillfully put together by the art department.
That's dope.
We were able to add to the scenery we had by making it broken and feel cracked.
That's pretty cool. Very resourceful.
All the mountains that you see, all the skies, it was all painting, so...
That is a 2000s look as well.
It actually is, and how close it is to Mount Doom.
The goatee strip.
In the end, it all felt as though it's one part of one cohesive Gondorian environment.
Dude, they did such a good job. Like, seriously. You'd never be able to guess that it was like recycled props or like set pieces.
Wow, imagine seeing that in the film. And that's what I thought when I saw the painting. Helm's Deep has got to look as good as that painting. Otherwise, there's no point in doing it.
Hell yeah.
On this project in January 98 was the drawings.
Yeah, January 98.
And the deeping wall, which stretches from one side to the other and protects
such an
whatever is coming there.
Just such a beautifully cool design architecturally.
The only thing that we changed from that painting was a suggestion of John Howe's. We could really a defensive position. The wall would curve inwards.
Valid.
Castles in New Zealand, I mean, there may be a couple, but we don't generally have them, so we have to build everything.
Of course.
Peter had this idea of filming it at Stone Street. First of all, you're in a neighborhood. You're going to film all night there. We're going to make a racket. We're not going to be very popular with the neighbors. To build this as a quarry right outside of Wellington.
It gave the art department an opportunity to build those sets into existing rock structures.
We resolved fairly early on that we'd build it in 5 separate elements just to make it possible to film it.
Trying to bust the door down, and they're not going to kill themselves if they fall off the edges.
Builders out there and started building it.
Damn, I can't believe that's even drivable.
Metre square concrete blocks to start off with, so we could sit our scaffolding on top of that.
Sheesh, dude.
The top of the set in there, it's got about half the size of a rugby field.
Jeez.
Another one built just up on this ledge here, which we're just carving out. The faces that we're seeing are
Yeah, it's absolutely insane that they really built this stuff, man.
We had
like
the main causeway ramp that led into the entrance and of course we then built the ramp, which you could actually get horses up and down on.
It was only like a foot off the ground.
Funny to think of it as a miniature, but it was quite large. It was big enough to be able to sort of crawl around through and build.
That's so cool. Kids would have loved it.
Stairway directly out of that, so we're going to build the set directly into the rock.
And
oh, wow.
Those stairs were cut step by step, so that was quite a long job for a guy on the end of a pneumatic drill.
Within that wall, we had a section that could blow away once the explosion occurred, and we could actually then shoot action on either side of the wall.
That's sick.
Tusk-like horn that Gimli runs up the stair and blows from.
Hell yeah.
Tolkien describes Helm's Deep.
So cool.
And how people had thought that they must have been giants because of the size of the blocks that we used.
Our art department crew really became incredibly talented at carving the styrofoam blocks in such a way to give it that rough, rock-hewn look that had been, that survived centuries.
That's so cool.
Everything looked very New Zealand, and then you look up and there's this sort of,
part
British
of a castle.
Yeah. Where did that come from, kind of thing.
And then we came to the battering ram. This is a good one because not only did it have to look good, but it had to physically smash the front door down.
Oh.
We built a battering ram for Helm's Deep, and you probably sent 2 guys to pick this thing up, but
no, it's gonna need like 10.
Was a major undertaking. This thing was a real battering ram.
That is huge.
Run towards the thing and throw the battering ram at the door. John Mahaffey would say, "You guys are pussies, man. You hit like elves." And we're like, "Right." And we went,
oh my god.
And bang, nothing. Still, he's like, "Come on, what are you? Iron or something?" And bang. And we tried and tried and tried.
Oh my god.
Somebody else in the art department decided, God, I mean, my door that I'm building has to stand up against that thing. God, I better make this pretty strong.
Apparently.
Son of a beep, 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 beep. Would you believe it?
We were defending a castle. I'd want our art department building our front door because they did a hell of a good job.
They built themselves a goddamn wall.
Everyone extended themselves.
That's hilarious.
There's no compromise. It's okay, we'll shoot it anyway. It's no. Come on.
Even though we knew it was going to be big, nobody could see how big it was going to be, and you couldn't actually think too far ahead because it was overwhelming.
Yeah, with a project of this magnitude, you really just got to focus on what's in front of you.
I really very sincerely feel that I've never worked with a crew of people like that in my life.
I believe it, yeah. The passion just across the board, man.
Come to me and say, "You've finished." And I don't know what my brain's going to do at that stage. I think I'll just probably go into slight shock. I think, well, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
A remarkable experience, really. Sketch something and make little models and then come here and see it all made real. It's been wonderful.
All right. I will do it for this episode here. Oh, man. That was so fun. That was so awesome getting to see the production behind Rohan and Helm's Deep, as well as the in-betweens there. I know those two were like the main focal points of this episode, though. Rohan specifically. Dude, the horse motifs, the gold, the actual sets being built on the hillside. Like, what more can there really even be said about Rohan and just its design and conceptualization and how it was brought to life? Just, my god, man, that's incredible. And damn near, I mean, the exact same thing for Helm's Deep. I knew most of it obviously was, I figured most of it was practical, but I figured it would have been like an on-set type of thing. I don't know. I don't really know what I expected. I don't know. I'm just genuinely so impressed at like seeing this stuff. It's just mind-boggling to me. The amount of passion and dedication and just time put into this kind of thing for just specific scenes, like the amount of rock faces that were built, the amount of trees that were built for just specific areas, the fact that Fanghorn wasn't on location and that it was a real, like, built in studio is just, I love this stuff, man. This is just such a blast to get to be able to watch, admire, and share with you guys. As always, though, thank you so much for watching along. Feel free to leave a like. Feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you thought about this episode in particular, what else you want me to check out here on this channel, and subscribe if you're new. It's totally free. You can always take it back later if you change your mind, but I would love it if you stuck around. With all that being said, team, I will see you in the next one.